Hi subscribers, hi viewers. As I promised like a few days ago that I was going to do a video on China's involvement in the Russian and Ukraine war, and it is today actually. First of all, I'm going to talk about China in general. Second, I'm going to talk about Ukraine. Then lastly, I'm going to talk about Russia. So coming to China first of all, maybe people do not, oh sorry, someone on a loud bike is making some noise. Maybe people do not understand China, like I always say. When was the last time you heard about China being involved in a war? Unless they are on war, and of course their civil war. When was the last time you heard that China was involved in any military operation in any country abroad other than its own territory? I'm sure some of you never, and not like it's some of you never, it's actually never. Because what's happening, China does not get involved in any foreign wars. What they do is just maybe economical wars. Yes, we might agree and disagree on that one. But here, as a matter of fact, I want to emphasize that China does not get involved. China has vetoed a lot. When I say a lot, I mean a lot of UN resolutions or anything that has got to do with conflicts. Anything that has got to do with conflicts in any country or any region, China has continued to veto. So this is a statement or is in the sign to show that China does not like conflicts at all. I'm just going to compare China to NATO. NATO, it takes about a week to say this leader to involved in regime change. You've seen the story of Iraq. It was all lies to destabilize the country, to start a conflict, to kill innocent civilians, and of which they continue to do that. And we saw the story of Libya. We saw the story of Zimbabwe. Most of them are African countries. And we saw the warmongering that they do all over the world. I can go on and mention even Vietnam. We can go on and mention Mali, Niger. These are African territories that continue to be destabilized. That continue to be destabilized by NATO. They call it NATO forces, NATO superpowers. And if China has been focusing on development. And of course, there's some other issues such as the warmongering, which is happening which happened in Ukraine. Remember, there's an African proverb that says, when two bulls are fighting, it's the grass that suffers. When two buffaloes are fighting, it's the grass that suffers. When two elephants are fighting, it's the grass that suffers. And when two lions are fighting, it continues to be the grass that suffers. With the grass suffering and this thing happening all over and over again, the Ukraine war, if you go deeper, it's not really about Russia and Ukraine. It's NATO, which has continued to promote and sponsor the war. Like they've done, dropping bombs and saying we're giving arms to Syria, we are giving arms to anybody who disagrees with them. They'll continue to fund and provide arms instead of humanitarian aid. And that's my opinion anyway. Now let's look at China. What has China done so far. Let's talk about the last 20 years. They've built the World Road and Sea Belt Initiative, and they've continued to do trade, building industries, especially in Africa. I will tell you a few secrets about this if you continue to watch until the end. Some interesting facts. Let me just do it now. I'm just going to do this now. The interesting facts now. So, did you know that China is no longer dependent on the international market? Did you know that? It will come as a secret to you before I go back? And to the other countries where they've got good trades with them, they've continued to build those trades in those territories, industries in those territories, so that they do not go on and if there's any case of which is happening right now of deglobalization, they can continue to do businesses because the some are involved and participating in those industries, right? That's a fact. Let me go down to now to what I was saying about NATO and everything, like what China has achieved in the last 20 years. In the last global recession, the 2009, 2010, they say it started in 2008. Who was there bailing the Western countries? America was bailed by China. England was bailed by China. Let me not talk about the projects. Germany was bailed by China. Russia was bailed by China. China went all over the world bailing the countries to make sure that they can watch. For them, business can resume as normal. Trade can resume as normal. But the Western media and the Western politicians, especially the NATO people, they say that the NATO powers will never expose this because they know it's going to humiliate them. Now I'm going to go down on Ukraine. Ukraine is a pawn in this chessboard. And of course, it's got a leader, a charismatic leader. We've seen what charismatic leaders do. We've seen where they come from. And we've seen what they end up doing. No charismatic leader lives without, in fact, just a few charismatic leaders. I cannot say no because I'll be wrong in that statement. Just a few charismatic leaders live without starting a conflict. And I mean just a few. So with these few charismatic leaders that live without starting a conflict, let's talk about the majority, the rest. What do? They go on and start conflicts using civilians as pawns. And they always, some way, somehow, have the so-called destabilizers. Countries such as the US, we do have this kind of leaders in Africa, by the way. The leaders that promote the destabilization of a country for their own benefit. I'm not saying that the Russian war, the Ukrainian war is actually correct or wrong, but I'm saying like the way it was handled and what led to that war. People, they just complaining saying that Russia invaded Ukraine, but what led to the invasion? Ask yourself that question. For some of us that follow politics and that understand politics a little bit better, will tell you that what led is the arrogancy and NATO's provocation of Russia for a long time now. Right? If you talk about NATO building bases and everything, it's just an issue of provocation. To provoke, to destabilize. It's not like you might say this because the same thing I will say will be happening with Taiwan. And the same thing has been happening with Taiwan for a long time now. And we've been watching and seeing exactly what's happening. But it's a mistake to say that China is involved in any way, shape or form in this war. They just veto because they never get involved. What they do is business and never involved in countries' domestic affairs. You can see a lot of people are complaining about China doing business with so-called bad leaders, but there's nobody who's a bad leader. It's just like you don't get to understand exactly the country's politics, and the Western media showing its influence, taking sides. And what's happening is, why did Ukraine stay stable until these young men came over? Why? Ask yourself why. They put somebody in place who they know that is going to do certain things for their own benefit. It's just like in politics, really. Now the other thing is, I'll come down and talk about Russia. The West is lost, really. NATO has lost its global dominance. NATO has lost its global dominance. NATO was really a superpower back then because they had colonies. Look at what's happening in Africa, North and Central Africa. French forces and French embassies and the French government is being told to go. Let's look at what's happening with the British Empire. All the Caribbean states, most of them, I'm not going to say all of them, because I'll be wrong again. Some of the Caribbean states, they want to remove the monarch, the British monarch is the head of state. Not talking about Australia. So that power is like dissolving, is shrinking. Shrinking is the right way to say this. That power is shrinking to an extent that they have lost what they had. Is they've lost it. Their secret weapon, they've lost it. You don't know exactly who won the World War, because at the end of the day, let's come back to the World War. Russian are patriotic about the Russian Second World War because they knew it was a Russian fighting it. You go back to France, to the story of France. They used colonies. They used people from their colonies, and those people were never compensated. Look at the British. They used people from Africa. The same with France. They've gone and used people from the so-called colonies to fight their wars, and they've lost power. They've lost control. So the question is now non-existent. And Russia has got some experience of fighting its wars, not making other people fight their wars. Because with NATO as well, you're just letting other people fight in your war. I'm not taking sides with Putin. I'm just expressing just an eye-opener here. Let's go down and talk about who's going to lose, who are the winners and the losers of the Ukrainian war. Well, of course, it's going to be Russia. The only loser in this war is Ukraine, because it is the only country that's suffering the devastation. It is the only country that's suffering the devastation of this war. It's the country that's getting the bombed. It's the one with civilians that are leaving the country. And it is the one that's busy asking for aid. You understand? It's getting people who are supporting it militarily, financially. They're going to get some aid at a cost. It's going to cost them. That aid that's going to come from NATO is going to cost them in the long run. And who are the losers? Amongst Ukraine being the loser, it's you. If you live in a European country, it's you. If you drive a car, it's you. If you eat food, it's you. Because look at the cost of living in those countries. Look at the cost of living in your country. And the rising of the inflation in your country. Look at all that. Look at the fuel prices. Right now, today, everybody was supporting the sanctions on Russia. Today, let's just take a look at something. Russia said, everybody, you sanctioned us, we can't do the visa thing, any payments, international payments, we can't do any trade, and now you have got to pay for anything you buy from us in rubles, in the Russian currency. Now you are paying the price. You who are busy watching the thing on TV saying Russia, not really blaming, I'm not saying Russia is correct, I'm just telling you about the effects, the losers of war. Right? Oh shit. So sorry about that. Where was I? I was talking about the losers of in a war. It is you in so many times. Your cost of living is going up, but as well the other biggest winners is the corporates. Look at the pharmaceutical industry, how good it's doing. It was because of the COVID. And look at the gas and oil industries, how they're doing. They're making profits. Look at the media industry, how it's doing. It is making massive, huge profits out of Ukraine's misery. It is making huge profits. When the prices are going up, these people, they are making a lot of profit that you don't see. You don't see those profits, you are busy complaining. And this is just a diversion. We're talking about the COVID, the Russian war. If you see it on the media, it's just a diversion from you not to realize exactly what's happening around you, because it's easy for humans to look at someone going through some misery and say, oh, I am better than that person. But the second you do that, and the second you say that, you're not really focusing on your problems. Somebody else is just pulling the strings in your life. So I'll say this, finally we're arriving here. I hope you watch the video, understand it, enjoy it. Remember, these are just my opinions, and it's not the video really I wanted to do, and it had to be a long video because today I took a long route. So what I'll do is I'll rephrase and shrink what I was saying to make it in a less constructive points, and because there's a lot of stuff I could have said and there's a lot that I left out, and some of it was just a contribution to make sure that everything is fine. Yeah, it's the 1st of April today, sunny day, people fishing on the river there, and you know what time it is now. It's time for me to go to the gym, and when I reach the gym, just to exercise for the day and start my business. Today I've got a few clients to call and do business with them. Hopefully it's going to be a profitable day, and I still got a few hours to work on this. So with those few hours, I'm just gonna go to the gym, then edit some stuff. After that, I'm going to continue doing business, and I'm going to be doing a lot of videos about China. Thank you for watching. Please, if you like the video or you want to see more of this content, please click on the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Your comments are well appreciated, and if I see that I'm getting a good audience, I'm going to show you more content. Although what I want to do mainly is videos about living and residing in China. Unfortunately, I was asked a lot of questions about this Ukraine and Russian war and the Chinese involvement. Thank you again. Please subscribe to the channel, click the like button, and leave a comment.